hello. We are so excited again for you to come back with us to see another segment of Meet My Mississippi Authors and Artists. I told you that I have the most amazing guests coming to you, and we have a variety of guests. Today, we have someone with us who's in pageants and who does plays and things like that. So she's going to tell you her name and where she's from, and then we're going to go from there.
Okay. My name is Carol Lynn Hovland. And I'm an actress, and I've been acting since high school.
And where are you from? Where did you go to high school?
Here in Union County. Actually, I went to high school in San Diego, California.
Okay.
But all my dad's side of the family is from Myrtle.
Okay.
Here in Union County.
Okay. So where were you born? Where were your parents born? And then where did you go to high school and graduate? What year?
Well, I was born and raised in San Diego, California. I was the youngest of two siblings. I have an older sister that's 2.5 years older than me, and her name's Kimberly. She still lives in San Diego right now. My mother's side of the family, believe it or not, are from the Philippines.
Okay, wonderful. I can see that.
And she was from, my mother was from the island of Luzon, which is the same island that carries the capital city of Manila.
Okay.
And so she was born in a small city, a port city called Cavite City.
Philippines. Is that the place the lady who had all those thousands of shoes or whatever? What was her name?
Imelda Marcos.
Yes.
She was very well known for her shoes.
Right.
Yes, and yes, her husband was former president.
Right, president. Right. But who cares about the president? We're talking about the shoes, baby.
My dad's side, like I said, they're all from Mississippi. I have one cousin, first cousin, that lives in Hawaii.
So was your dad in the military when he met your mom, or how did that come up? Okay, tell us a little about that.
He met my mother, who was in the military. Actually, it was pretty neat because my uncle, who is my mother's brother, met my father in the military, and he had seen a picture of my mom.
Okay.
And through that little network, they started to write each other a little bit. And my uncle says, "You've got to meet my sister."
Okay. So if you didn't
so my
know.
dad thought, we'll write each other, and they became pen pals. And actually, my mother, she worked on the American base in the Philippines as a teacher.
Okay.
So she was teaching preschool.
Okay.
Then after they were married, she moved to the United States, and she decided to go back into school, here in America, and she did the right thing.
Okay.
Got her bachelor's degree, got into teaching preschool, worked her way all the way up to get her master's.
Wonderful.
And so she was
how did you first get into acting, and why did you think did you start acting when you were a child and dramatic all the time, or how did that all come about?
Well, I'm beginning to think that there is, how do they say, like something about second borns. They have a little bit of a, it's something in them, that creative side, like they're not as,
that A personality as a firstborn, so we get to do the creative stuff. They're all up there.
Right. And my mother, if she would hear, she'd say, "Oh, it's that right brain, left brain."
Exactly.
We got to develop the creative.
Completely left. Okay. Yes. Okay. We don't know how to count.
To answer your question, yes. When I was little, my sister and I, we would in the neighborhood just for fun put on these little
plays
shows.
And stuff. Oh my goodness.
And dress up our Barbies.
Oh really?
And we had dogs.
Okay.
We put little hula skirts on our dogs.
And so look, if you have dogs now, do you dress them up for the little Elvis parades and all that kind of stuff now?
So Mom had something to do with that, being a teacher. She every day for my sister and I was always something creative in everything that she did with us. And of course, since she was a teacher and she understood child development and things like that.
Right.
And she would do that for us. And my sister and I guess we had a little business side back then because we would charge our friends a nickel.
Oh my goodness!
To watch the show. And my mother would pop the popcorn.
See, a supportive parent. Don't we need them? I'm telling you.
And so that pretty much, I guess you could say that's how I kind of got that little bit of creative side. But high school was the the time that I really started to take notice of.
So what was
drama.
your biggest scene, and what was your biggest, the character that you played in high school? Everybody has that one that they were like, oh, this made me know this is what I wanted to do. So what play was that, or whatever, musical or whatever, that made you say, okay, I can do this, honey, I'm good? Was there one? Or a teacher that encouraged you, or someone that really encouraged you?
My first drama teacher was in high school, and they were having auditions for an Arthur Miller play.
Okay.
And it was called A View from the Bridge.
Okay.
And they needed several townspeople that resembled Italians in this play. And so I didn't, I auditioned for one of the lead parts, but I didn't get a role doing that. But I was a townsperson, and I learned, well, now that I'm older, that old saying, there's no small parts, only small actors. So everybody, I learned from the get-go in high school that everybody had to work as a team to create this story on stage. And Patricia, I just fell in love with it. And so observing things, so a little bit from my drama teacher, I learned from him. But I'll have to say the most impactful time for me had to have been college. At the college level with acting.
Now where did you go to college? And
Southwestern College. It was a community college in Southern California. And my professor, his name was William Virtus. He just went by Bill. So he, taught us just everything from the time you're on stage to the time you get off stage about your character. I've had so many mentors over the years, but it has been
plays
Bill.
Have you been in around here, or filming for movies or commercials or whatever? Because there are a lot of people who want to get into acting. How do you find the avenues? How do you find the things around here that you look them up in the paper or on the internet of what's going on around? So kind of tell them how to, navigate that world of wanting to be an actor around here in a small town.
Okay, well, when I first moved to the Mid-South, I noticed, there's not really a whole lot of opportunities in this market area, because a lot of folks were either from LA, Atlanta, New York, up near Chicago. That's where the bigger paying jobs were. And so what I did was I thought, well, we've got the internet these days. I'm going to create a network of actors here in the Mid-South area, North Mississippi. So, and also being a Christian, I thought, wow, something, I prayed about it, and it sort of led me to that direction to sort of help my friends, help myself along the way, and just to make good connections, and folks in the film industry.
So here in the Hills, do you have a group? Do you all have a group, a club, or anything that you were a part of?
No. It's more of, because when you're an actor, there's a lot of, like you said, it's a lot of individual work. You look at auditions online every morning. That's my plan. Get up in the morning. Just because I'm not outside the house doesn't mean I can't treat it like a business.
And that's why I love to post those things on Facebook, because I never know who's going to need it or want it, because there are a lot of films that kind of film in Memphis and Oxford and Canton sometimes. So whenever there's a casting call, I make sure that I put it on my Facebook page. And y'all out there, if you see stuff, there are struggling artists and authors and things out here. Put that stuff that's going on. You never know who'll need it or want it,
Yes.
So,
but everybody has their little ways of doing that. Sort of. I guess you can say I'm just now starting to get my feet wet when it comes to TV and film. But I did a lot of theater actually here in New Albany with the Tallahatchie River Players over, maybe the last 15 years. I've been a member of that group. And then I sort of went
and do you all meet? That's what I was asking. The Tallahatchie River Players, how do you audition for it? How do you get in with it? Just look it up online and ask about it, or what?
Just like you said, you'll see things online. just networking. If I see something, I'll pass it along. And
so to get in contact with you all, that's what I'm saying. Do you have a Facebook page, Tallahatchie River Players, or how do
they
you?
do?
Okay.
Actually, there's also a group page, I believe, that I'm a member of for Tallahatchie River Players.
Okay, right. So y'all, if you're in this area, you might want to, New Albany actors, just to learn about it, even if you're not part of them.
Yes, and that's a big thing. Like you were saying, it's each individual actor has their way of promoting themselves.
Absolutely.
But I'll have to say, just over the past 10 years or so, I have seen the growth in technology, availability with everything from Twitter to Facebook.
Absolutely.
To, and that's a big thing.
It is. Instagram, so, you can come an Insta star on Instagram, I'm telling you. Okay, so now we're going to get into the pageant world, because you are Mrs. Union County 2019. Magnolia State.
Yes.
Okay. I love Chris Shannon. Okay, he's over the director over the whole fabulosity of Magnolia State pageants. I'm telling you. So they have a Mrs., they have a Miss, they have the teen, the little. They go from all ages, and there is a Magnolia State pageant in every little nook and cranny in Mississippi. So believe me, if you want to get into the pageant world, look up Magnolia State, Miss Magnolia State pageants. Now, so this is your crown. Hold that up. That's a preliminary
this kind of little preliminary crown that I won last month.
Yeah, preliminary
for the Mrs. Division.
Yes.
And this is our preliminary sash showing that I won that category.
So where did you all have it? They usually have them at a hotel or something like that sometimes, or a venue. So where was your pageant?
This preliminary pageant was held right here in New Albany. At the American Legion building here at the Union County Fairgrounds.
So, and what all did it entail as far as you wearing a gown, and what did you ask a question? Tell them how that go.
Well, the preliminary pageant actually was just a category for everything was just preliminary stuff. I mean, we had everything from. Each division had certificates for prettiest smile, best fashion,
they have babies on up,
prettiest eyes, from babies
to
married women, and so we won those categories. And then we each wore our evening wear to be scored on that.
So if you want to be in a pageant, Miss Magnolia State pageants is for you, I'm telling you, because they have something for everybody, from babies to 50 years old, 60 years, whoever wants to be in it, you can be in this pageant. And I'm telling you, they give you a lot of little sashes for all different categories, and it's a wonderful pageant because it just encourages you to think that you are enough and be enough, and it's a fabulous pageant. Okay, so then you go to Vicksburg, right?
That'll be this fall, November.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, one thing that drew me to this pageant was the fact that number one was that they were promoting also things that married women can be involved in. And even at the local level, the state level, and if the person should win, then there's so many things that the contestants can do, and it's a network. It's like a little sisterhood too of all the queens.
So why did you decide to get into that? To decide, I'm going to just check that out. I'm going to go to the Miss Magnolia State pageant and see if I can do something.
Back in 1983, there was a pageant, believe it or not, at my college, and it was called Miss South Bay San Diego. And I just decided, well, let me just try out for a pageant. I thought, okay, I was pretty driven because I was working on my degree, and then I took a little acting, and I liked that feeling of, wow, this is really building my confidence to speak to people, to present myself well, because I thought eventually when I finished college, I wanted to be a teacher back then, just like Mom, sort of follow in the footsteps. But anyways, to make a long story short, I ran for Miss South Bay San Diego, and it was my very first pageant, and out of 60 girls, I won that title. So here I am 30 years later as a Mrs., and that, Patricia, is what led me to think, okay, you know, I'm in that stage of my life now. I'm a wife, a mother, and I just love helping others. I want to be an inspiration to others that no matter what you do, if you're
and it's
a
never
mom,
too late.
yes, a CEO of a bank, if you're a waitress, or I mean,
Just
give it
live
110%.
life.
Yes,
Absolutely. Be you,
and be
do
the best
you,
that you
and
can
shine.
be.
So tell me, do you have a website? Do you have some place where people can find you? So if they're looking for an actress or whatever, where can they find you? Do you have a website, a web page, Instagram page?
I do. It's on Facebook.
Okay.
And right now, like I said, since I'm doing a little bit of TV and film here and there, I'm starting just to self-promote.
Okay.
So maybe later on down the line, after a few acting jobs in film or television, if I decide to maybe approach an agency to get representation for that, I might do so. But for right now, I just want to learn from as many mentors as possible.
And
to
right now,
go that
how
direction.
do you start with acting? Do you have to get your headshot done? That everybody needs to have that, so whenever they're going to do something, do you have a photographer who does that for you? What's the first thing they need to do to get their portfolio together?
Well, with acting, I have been told, this is what I was told when I first started, was to find somebody that's already doing what you want to do.
Right.
And learn everything that you can learn from this person. And I've had a couple of mentors here in the South, and actually even talked with a few talent agents on what they want from actors. And for film, yes, you need like a standard 8x10 headshot, and a lot of things digital these days. But once in a while, you'll go to an audition or casting will say, do you have a hard copy, which means your headshot. And they usually just flip over that card and they'll have your resume on there. But I just recommend, if you're getting started, start out with some theater roles, you know, no matter how small it is. And then with film, contact your local film commissions.
Now tell us about the Tallahatchie River Players. How often do you have a play or do some event in New Albany?
Well, it's been a few years since I've
How often do they?
How often do they?
In general, yes.
Oh gosh, they're seasonal. Yeah, every season, and if you go to their website, you can pretty much see what upcoming plays happen here in New Albany, and it could range anything from Christmas shows to, I know they also have a Cancer Relay for Life show. They've done Hee Haw every year. So that's been a good fundraiser for American Cancer Society. And
Very good. So what is your message again that you want to give out to everybody about, hey, live your life, just follow your passion?
The thing is, I've always learned just through meeting people over the years, it's just every person that you meet, if you think of it as a learning experience for you, absorb everything that you can about the people that you meet, surround yourself with people that are sort of aligned with the same mindset that you have, and you'll be surprised at how far it will not only take you, but your circle of friends. And you mentioned before about acting, like specifically a specific photographer even I've known for years, and he's in Oxford, and he started out with family pictures, took a couple headshots for me back in 2017, and I just know I've got him in my corner. If I ever need a good acting headshot, I just give him a call. Just like I said, a few of the mentors that I had when I started here in the Mid-South, it was about 96 when we came here, and one mentor I had was Miss Donna Groff, and she's in Collierville, Tennessee. She and her husband were just the greatest mentors to me on what to expect, not only at the local level, but at the national level, if you were to meet different casting directors, just to be prepared. She taught us everything we needed to know about interviews, trusting your intuition.
What do we need to know about interviews? What do they need to know about interviews?
Well, with interviews, it's more or less, well, she always just said, acting interviews for agencies, everybody's different. Every agent will try to find something different. But for auditioning and casting interviews, or if you're reading for a director, one of the biggest things she said was always be prepared. Just know your lines, because there again, that's teamwork. You have to think about the writer.
Absolutely.
Everything the writer wants in this script and on screen is important, just like what the director wants, the actors want, the production people, the film people. It's all team. And back in my early years, I competed in figure skating, so I knew, okay, we've got a team. We had a club of girls. We would go from one part of California to another part of California. We compete as a group. And that taught me my teen years. Yeah, you know, I was very driven in that aspect. And
so what kind of roles now are you looking for? When you look through the paper or look on the internet, what catches your eye? What do you look for?
Well, I'll have to say sometimes it depends on the character and the role. If I know that this character is going to sort of give the viewer a message, pertaining to, especially because after teaching, I got into acting. I worked in early childhood education, and I taught 4 and 5-year-olds for about 8 years. And so the young youth mindset is a big thing for me. And because I know it's going to impact the future, as well as, you know, the teenagers and then young college age level. So, but like for instance, back in 2014, I had my first speaking part, and this was in a drama thriller movie, and it was filmed in Water Valley, and it was called Force Move. And our director, Tony Bloodworth, came from Los Angeles, and he had a few different actresses, including myself. There were a couple of girls from Memphis that auditioned for this part, and my character was supposed to be a Latina mom whose daughter was a victim of a homicide. And I thought to myself, wow, you know, if anybody can play this part, I can, because number one, growing up in Southern California, I had a lot of Hispanic, Latina friends. I knew their lifestyle. It was very diverse in Southern California. I mean, we had Caucasian friends, European friends, you know, Hispanic friends, Italian. And, but to make a long story short, he came out after they had put me on tape. And the other girls on tape, there were 2 other actresses from Memphis, and he wanted to meet me. He said, oh, you know, I got to meet Carol and a couple of the other actors from Oxford. So he flew out, and I actually, after the second callback, got the role, and he called me. It was like 11 o'clock at night. Carol, this is Tony. I just want to let you know you got the part. And I almost didn't believe it. I thought, you know, because after all the time on stage and acting, I thought this is kind of like a walk in the park. If I don't get it, just do what your mentors have told you, toss it over your shoulder, keep moving on, keep auditioning. And when I got that part, I thought, wow, but it was a really good experience just to see how everything is just put together in separate parts of the film, and then the actual finish, which is probably like 2 years later, but they actually got it together, and my goodness, it was a really good experience, and I'll never forget that part. So give us your name again,
so people who might be wanting you to act or do some work, tell them your name so they'll know.
Okay, my name is Carol Lynn Hovland, and I'm from the Union County area, and I'm very interested in television and film. And actually, I have to say that just within maybe the last 5 years, I'm starting to notice here in North Mississippi, we're starting to lay a good foundation for television and film. And as a matter of fact, you may have seen in the news, Memphis.
They're doing some filmmaking.
Yeah, Bluff City Law.
Well,
just
look
got
for
picked
her.
up.
She might
So-
have some things going on, and you
we
might
hope
want
so.
her
Knock on wood.
Thank you
Because,
so much, you all. We have come to another end of another wonderful episode of Meet My Mississippi Authors and Artists. And please tune in every Friday, 9 or 5. And I'm Patricia Neely-Dorsey. Always, always celebrating the South and promoting a positive Mississippi. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's inside me, girl, it's in the air. It's who I am through and through. It won't take long.